This meeting is being recorded.
All right. Well, as we continue through our series on the architecture of reality, we've been talking about the sun, moon, and the stars. We're going to talk about the new heavens and the new earth now. And this is one of those topics that is interesting, but ends up having an incredible meaning or a life-changing, maybe perspective-changing uh, meaning, at least it did for me, because as we talk about the sun, the moon, and the stars as symbolic, we one of the uh, most common ways in the Bible that the stars are used as symbols is when they're religious and civil rulers. The stars, we're told in the beginning, rule time. Right? They rule the day and the night in Genesis 1. Rulers set in place by God, but they're also made to represent civil and religious rulers. And we actually still use this kind of symbolism all the time. Today, we have 50 stars on the American flag to represent the 50 states. Um, Middle Eastern and Eastern European countries often have moons. East Asian flags have sunrises on them. Um, and this symbolism that we use it's ancient. It goes all the way back. All the way back to the oldest writings that we have in the Bible. When Joseph is given a dream vision, it says the sun, the moon, and the stars bow down to him, which is symbolic of his father and his mother and his brothers bowing down to him. And that in Genesis 37. And we see that the fulfillment of that is that he is made to be a civic ruler of Egypt. The When Isaiah goes to predict the removal of the leaders of Babylon, he's in Isaiah 13. He says the stars are going to fall from the sky. Uh, Isaiah says the same thing about Edom. He's going to cast out the host of heaven. The stars will fall to the ground. The heavens will be rolled up like a scroll. And he's talking about Edom being taken down by God. Jeremiah says the same thing when he's in Jeremiah 4. Ezekiel, when he's talking about Egypt, says, when I will put you out, I will cover the heavens. I will make the stars dark. I will cover the sun with a cloud. The moon will not give her light. The bright lights of heaven I'll make dark. I'll set darkness upon the land. In Ezekiel 32, this is a common way to talk about the removal of leaders, but the leaders are also talked of in terms of the sun and the moon and the stars of a nation. Uh, and so when we get to the New Testament, uh, Jesus actually uses this exact same way of talking in Matthew 24. He says, immediately after the tribulation of those days, when he's talking about within one generation, here's all the things that are coming to pass. The sun will be darkened, the moon will not give her light, the stars will fall from the heavens, the heavens will be shaken. Right? In Matthew 24, that's how Jesus talks about what he's going to do to the leaders of Jerusalem and the temple. Um, that he's going to darken the sun and the moon. He's going to pull the stars out of the sky. He's going to what he's doing has permanent cosmic consequences. Pull those heavens down, and then he's going to remake the whole heavens and the earth. Where he came to put to death the old heavens and the earth, or bring the old heavens and the earth to death with him in the tomb, and that would lead to a new heavens and a new earth. And this is something that Isaiah 65 says explicitly, right? In the day when the Gentiles begin to call on the name of the Lord, in Isaiah 65, uh, a seed would rise out of Jacob and out of Judah. Right? The, in the day in the days of Jesus and the apostles, the Lord would create a new heavens and a new earth, and the former would not be remembered nor come into mind. Um, in Isaiah 65, right? The new heavens and the new earth are going to be brought in by Jesus. And then uh, the the so that means that we now live in the new heavens and the new earth of Isaiah 65 and 66. Um, and that's in the era when all flesh will come to worship before me. Um, and it's uh, Peter in his second epistle. He talks about it too, right? We, according to his promise, look for a new heavens and a new earth. In Second Peter 3, it would come as a thief in the night. The heavens will be dissolved along with the earth melting, right? So at the second coming, there's going to be another new heavens and a new earth, or a final new heavens and a new earth, a final state when Jesus returns and he raises the just and the unjust, and the great white throne of judgment happens. But we are already live in a new heavens and a new earth, because Jesus is one now in charge, right? The old authority structures have all been replaced by Jesus. Jesus says in the Sermon on the Mount, even until heaven and earth pass away, not one jot or one tittle will pass from the law till all is fulfilled. Um, so he says the that the heavens and the earth, for the law to be transformed into something else. The law is essentially the Old Testament law is the law of the old heavens and the old earth, and he says until they pass away, um, the Old Testament law is going to be binding. But what he's arguing is that something as catastrophic as the passing away of heaven and earth will make the old covenant law um, anything other than binding in every detail. But so the temple would have to continue, and all of the laws would have to continue. But Jesus prophesies that the consequences of his death, resurrection, and ascension, the heavens and the earth would pass away within one generation in Matthew 24. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. Right? Heaven and earth are going to pass away and be replaced with the kingdom of Jesus. So that's why at the end of Matthew 28, when he says, all power is given unto me in heaven and on earth, that we understand that the entire authority structure of the old world is dismantled and rebuilt with Jesus as the fundamental, primary, highest authority. So when Paul says something like, "If any man is in Christ, he is a new creature." He's a new creation. Old things are passed away, but all things become new. Uh, he what he's saying is that in Christ we have passed from the old heavens and the old earth to the new heavens, the new earth, and we are one of the things that has been completely made new with the recreation of the universe, right? God created the universe in 6 days, and then he rested on the seventh. Jesus recreated the universe in 3 days, in the cross, in his burial, and in his resurrection, and then he rested on that first Sunday when he was raised from the dead. So all things are new in Jesus because all things have been reconciled to God by Jesus, right? So uh, if, so it's one of those things where um, because of our understanding, because we have a mechanistic, materialistic set of assumptions about the heavens and the earth, we're unable to see or read some of these passages clearly. They just get confusing to us because it's such a because it's talking about something that it's almost literally beyond our imagination in a lot of instances. Um, Jesus entered into the old heavens and the old earth for a time. He put himself under the angels, put himself in subjection to this world in order to uh, bind this world nail it to the cross, bind the old world, nail it to the cross, bury it in the tomb, and bring a whole new cosmos, a whole new organization of the cosmos, a whole new authority structure of the cosmos out of the tomb with him. Um, and he did that by breaking the curse that death had. The old world was under a curse. The old heavens and the old earth were in covenant with death. They were Adam had handed over his authority to Satan and his angels, and God had been winning it back a piece at a time through his own intervention. But the new heavens, the new earth has been won back, right? It has been. And so then each of us, as we are converted, baptized as the Spirit joins himself to our life, and the Spirit is poured out on us, poured out into us as well, both corporately in the church and as individuals, then we are moved from that bound old heavens and the old earth, under the curse of death, under the curse of sin, bound by guilt, sold into slavery, the slavery to guilt. We are moved to the world in which Jesus is the mediator of the new covenant, where he sprinkled his blood was sprinkled in the heavens, right? Those sorts of things, they almost don't even make sense to us. But in Hebrews, he says this is the shaking of earth and heaven, right? He doesn't just shake earth; he shakes earth and heaven, and that in that shaking, the things that cannot be moved replace the things that can shake. And we were one of those things, right? We were stones that had been used to build the gates of hell, and we're removed from the gates of hell as they're dismantled and washed off in our baptism, and then we become living stones in the new temple that is the temple of the new heavens and the new earth. This is why it's changing our cosmology ends up having such a significant effect on the way we live, right? We're not just it's not just, oh, here's a metaphor that they believe, but it's not really true, right? We've got our metaphor systems of a mechanistic universe. We've got our metaphor systems of a materialistic universe, with gravity being the gravity and magnetism being the forces that cause things to move. And they had this older metaphor system that they used because God had to bend himself to their metaphor system in order to communicate. You hear that stuff like that. What has our metaphor system actually keeps us from understanding reality. We forget, or we're put under the spell that keeps us from being able to see. I mean, this is why the silver chair, when C.S. Lewis in the silver chair talks about the witch trying to put them under a spell and convince them that Narnia doesn't exist, that there's nothing above them but dead rocks. It's such a powerful moment because that's where all of us stand. We look up and we see dead rocks, and we forget, or the spell of modernity makes us forget what kind of world we actually live in, right? And it's why when we build when they built cathedrals, one of the central art forms in the cathedral is the control and glorification of light, right? That the cathedrals were built so that light would be controlled, made beautiful, made more beautiful. Light was a part of the art form of the cathedral. We build churches and with no windows now, so that we can control the light through we can control electric light, basically. And it's a and it doesn't occur to us what we're doing. We think that it's normal, but really it's a reflection of the heavenly picture, or the we've terraformed Earth in our imagination. We have earthified the heavens, and said, well, it's actually no different out there, except for the space is bigger, it's colder, it's darker. And that is our imagination affecting the way that what we think is normal. So we're going to talk more about this cosmic picture. There's a broader aspect to it, but the new heavens and the new earth is I think a helpful entry door into it. The way that the scriptures talk about Jesus's authority, um, being a new creation,